15, we'll call this meeting to order. Has everybody taken a chance to look over minutes from our last meeting? If so, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the minutes as published.
All right, got a motion from Michael.
Can I suggest just one change?
All right.
Sorry. In the treasurer's report, it says that Peabody said that even if the DDA ignored the loan, I don't think I used the term ignored because we wouldn't ignore a loan. Just kind of rephrase that to like, even without the loan, there would still be, or something like that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, because I wasn't suggesting we ignore the loan. I was just reminding everyone that we had it.
Okay, we had a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Is Ellen not in then?
She's not on yet. Mm-mm.
Okay. Moving on down to number 3, financial report.
Yeah, it's same as usual, it's just some interest income. So we still have the same balance plus like $2 or $3. Sorry. I was over here talking instead of getting my information out. Yeah, so we have the balance right now, 61,257.
Okay, moving on down to number 4, old business, discussion of board member appointment.
I think we didn't do that right last month, so I asked Stacy to come and help us work through what we need to do with that or how we need to proceed with that.
I think the question was about staggered terms, and you currently have staggered terms. So, and the statute states that the terms after the initial activation with staggered terms, they have to be 4-year terms. So I think the motion might have been that the appointment be on a temporary basis till the bylaws are revised, but really that wouldn't comply with the statute. So the appointment for this seat would be 4 years. And so I don't think your bylaws need to be changed on that section because they state that directors are appointed in accordance with the DDA Act, which is appropriate. And I think like the other sample we had, that's what is the customary language, because the DDA Act trumps the bylaws if they're inconsistent.
Yeah, I think Bill and Tracy both thought we were on staggered terms anyway, right?
I knew that's how we started
Yeah.
out, so
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they got off on them or what happened. We started out on staggered.
Yeah. Anything else?
So does that confirm we are going to work on rewriting the bylaws or making some changes to the bylaws, or are you saying we do not need to make any changes?
That particular provision does not need to be amended. There are some other provisions that aren't like exactly how you operate, so you could if you wanted to, but I think like one was that when you meet your meeting date, but I'm assuming like years ago the board adopted a resolution to meet at a time other than the initial bylaws. So if you wanted to, you could update that, amend the bylaws. Another was like it has the old-fashioned language to have a notice by telex, but nobody sends telex. You could, I don't know that you have to update that, but you could. But I think those were the other 2 things that kind of jumped out. But if you want to update that, we can certainly work on it, or if there are other provisions. But most DDAs, like a DDA does not have to have bylaws, and a lot of them don't. Like a lot of your provisions that govern how you operate are in this DDA statute. So, but and I think that's kind of, it's rare that we even look at them really, but just whatever you desire, we can work on them.
So as far as question for me, so I am still fairly new to this. So as far as like appointing like another chairman, how would that work? Like, do we decide in between us?
Yes.
And like,
the city council appoints the members, and the members serve even if their term has expired. They continue to serve unless it's the one that's appointed from city council. Then that one coincides with the city council term. But the statute says that the board members appoint officers, and it just has one line. And so your chairman and vice chairman have to be a board member. Your secretary, treasurer, or joint title that I think Tracy officially is secretary treasurer, they do not have to be a board member. Now, your
Oh.
bylaws state that every other January, you elect officers, but I don't know that that has been done. You know, I think they've continued.
Yeah.
Andy was gracious and agreed to be assistant secretary because this Arbor Valley project, we have to have, and we're gonna have more documents to be signed. So in January might be a logical time to look at your officers. Is that in
Okay.
accordance with your bylaws to see
Okay.
how you wanna handle those?
Yeah, because the bylaws do say that every other January,
So,
elect new officers.
and I don't think that's been done, so I think you could assume this January would be, you could.
Anything else on discussion of board member applicants?
But we still have one spot we have to fill, right?
Well,
Or-
Jerry continues to serve until you guys say otherwise.
Okay.
Or
So that's pretty much until
Un-
January
Or
when we
until January,
revote.
yeah.
It's actually until the city council appoints and it does, either reappoints him or appoints someone else in Jerry's seat, so.
Does the board not make the vote and then we take it to council?
The statute says that I think those are two different things. I think your statute says that Jerry continues to serve until the city council appoints a successor. Now, I think there's been a policy or practice that I'm not quite as familiar with that Janet probably is, that
We recommend.
a board, they have an application process where the board makes a recommendation to city council. So I think at your last meeting, you had the recommendation for Jerry to continue to serve on a more limited basis. So y'all could either say, you could recommend Jerry for the full 4-year term, or I think you have some more applications, so that's probably what the discussion is, so. But I don't know if the city council, and you'll probably know better than I, if they wait to reappoint somebody until they get a recommendation from the board.
They do, that's how they do it. So the board votes and then we take it in front of council and they either approve or deny it based upon the board's recommendation.
So we need a new recommendation with the new applications in, is that right?
I think that's right. I guess you have 3 applications, Jerry's and then the 2 other.
Yes,
And
and
that-
I sent those to you guys to look at.
So like if we wanted to vote somebody that's currently sitting, like, so if me personally, like I wanted to vote Andy for like a chairman, we would fill out an application for that, or?
Not for
No,
the
it's 2
chairman.
different things.
Oh, okay.
This is just for a board member for Jerry's
Okay.
seat. His term technically expired in October,
Right.
so it's just recommending to the city council who would be a board member for that seat.
Oh, okay, okay, I
The
see, I
event,
see.
and then later, you all choose amongst yourselves who the chairman is, and you don't have to have a formal application for that. That's just like,
Right.
I
Between
nominate
us, yeah.
so-and-so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what she's saying for January, then you guys
That's
would
when we would
appoint-
come in and
appoint
vote.
board
Right.
members, yeah, or appointments of chair and
Mm-hmm.
vice chair and all that.
It's confusing.
It's just like one.
But as you look at the bylaws, it says in there that we're going to have an audit done every year. We never do that. We're part of the city's audit, so that needs to be taken out of the bylaws.
As an audit is conducted?
No, they take our information and include it in the audit the city does every year, but no one audits, just the DDA.
Right, I think it's a consolidated audit that includes, I'm guessing, this DDA information, so that's customary, so you wouldn't do a separate audit, but technically, the auditors look at your information, so it
Yeah.
is, but if you want to clarify
'cause
that, but an audit is conducted, it's just,
Yeah.
we don't do it, the city does it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that the way that the bylaws read is that we were doing an audit
Right, so that.
Because it
that's
says the treasurer shall cause an annual audit of the books of the authority to be made by the firm which audits the books of the city and present such audit to the director. So it's making it sound like we have while the city's doing their audit, we do a separate audit too, but we don't. We're just part of the city's audit.
I think we do have a separate report that's included, so that's just probably, Tracy probably doesn't cause it to happen, the city does.
Well, yeah,
to me.
I know we have an audit because I have to give them the information every year.
Right.
It's just not a separate, it sounded like it was a separate thing in the way the
Yeah.
bylaw is read.
We can clarify that.
Okay.
But the good news is y'all have an audit.
Yes, yes, we are part of the city's audit.
Right. And there's Ellen, it looks like.
Yeah, she's on. Ellen, can you hear us?
I can. It's a little bit of a struggle because there seems like there's a lot of background noise, but I can hear
Okay,
most of it, 80% of it.
okay.
I can only hear 79% of it.
All right, Bill.
We're hearing 110% of you.
So as it goes to the bylaws, should we iron that out first before we start appointing new members or even considering appointing new members? Or what order do we need to go in? Do we need to vote on Jerry? Do we need to iron out the bylaws first?
I think we've got, because we follow the state bylaws, I mean, these really don't matter in terms of, because we have to follow what the state says, which is 4-year terms.
Okay.
And right now, Jerry's up, so we got to appoint somebody to fill another 4-year term. And that's where we have these applications for. So with Jerry and Rob and
Sandy.
Sandy. So I guess we need to decide on one of these so that we can present that to the city.
City council.
Yes, that's correct, I agree.
Sorry, I didn't realize he was asking you.
No,
I didn't
well,
mean
he
to
was
jump
looking
in.
straight at me, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, whomever,
So,
whoever needs to guide us.
I don't know either one of these individuals as realtors, but I reached out to a couple businessmen here in Villa Rica, and the opinion of the group was that Sandra Minor would be a much better candidate than Rob because she was ultra organized, driven, and focused in her business. So that was their consensus. I don't know either one of them. But
Yeah, Rob just opened up the Cryleak, is that his?
Cryleak.
Cryleak.
In the,
Yep.
across from, yeah.
And I've talked to him quite a bit. He's really wants to be involved in things in Villa Rica. He's brand new to the area, so maybe start him on another board, but he really wants to do a lot. And he actually said on his application, he's
Couple of
also consider Main Street and committees and stuff. So I think he really does want to get involved.
Who are you talking about, Carl?
Rob with Cryleak Realty, Rob Smith.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then before that, we were talking about Sandy.
Did the speaker go off?
No,
No, we were just quiet.
Okay. Okay.
we can't have a nomination yet.
And Sandy's picture looked familiar. Is she on other committees?
No, she is not. She had just mentioned interest in, getting involved as well. So,
you might confuse her with her daughter.
yeah, her
Kelly.
daughter is Kelly Bell.
Okay. Okay, so her daughter is Kelly Bell.
Correct.
Okay, well then, that's a good stamp of approval for me, because Kelly's so energetic and involved in everything. She must get it from her mama.
Yes, we have her doing a lot.
Well, that's awesome.
Any nominations?
I would nominate Sandra Minor for the position.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
What is the motion again?
To nominate Sandra Minor to fill the expired position of Jerry.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Me?
So that means I'm through, right?
Well, I mean, it still has to go to the city
Council, they still have to.
and they have to approve it. We just recommend to the city, so they actually make the decision.
All right, we'll move on down to number 5, new business. Discussion of December meeting.
Can we go back to update on Gateway?
Okay, excuse me, update on gateway signage and discussion of alternate location.
So we're on to Plan C. European body wrap declined. So this that I have you guys circled is near Phil Blair. And certainly we'd have to talk to Phil, but that's a little closer into the city. Michael actually brought up a good point about Julie Moore. I would need to look at her property because I think it's like maybe a ditch and then the hill, and I don't
Yeah,
know if
she's
there's a
up on a
light
hill.
pole. Yeah, and I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a light pole there, but I was going to talk to Phil and see if, he would be okay with us putting it there.
Is that a good place for people to see it?
Well,
kinda
you see it
crowded
right
right
coming
there.
into,
Yeah.
you can see it though. It'll be very, very clear once you come up on it. But
That's why I was
yeah,
wondering the size earlier on how it would do. And the train backs up there quite frequently, so.
yeah. Well, then they can sit there and look at the sign. Yeah, but I still need to speak with Phil, but this came up as we're trying to work through just different locations. We certainly need one on South Carroll. So,
It's amazing, nobody really wants to be the gateway.
I know.
which is,
That's a good location, honestly.
and we certainly don't have to, obviously, we need to talk to Phil, but I just want to kind of give you you guys an idea of Plan C.
So you're talking about where the red sign is now?
Yeah, that would come up. That doesn't necessarily need to be there. We don't have
Yeah.
any other markers like that, so that could come up.
The only problem I see, Janet, is it's not next to a telephone pole. You would have to be close to the 78 sign.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem.
Okay. If not, could we look at Jay Collins? He's got a telephone pole before his driveway right there, too.
We
If
could.
this doesn't work out.
We could. And I'm going to look at Julie's as well, just to kind of see which one.
I think her hill starts right past the sidewalk.
I think so too. That's what I was telling Michael. I think there's like a small ditch and then it goes up, but I'll just go out there and double check. This one here, this is on South Carroll Street, right next to Phil Blair Agency. That's his driveway you see there in that picture.
Still no solution with the other location? Or,
They declined. You talking about European?
No,
Body?
no, the
Where
other,
they're
No,
the triangle.
no. Julie Moore, she's the attorney down South Carroll, her house, it's a stone-looking house. Yeah.
What about the area where, where the church is? We're driving now,
Where's that?
driving now on the right-hand side,
That's what I'm trying-
We've tried that. That was Plan A.
and they said no?
You gonna resign?
They didn't say no, they haven't voted, and we've asked them. This has been going on 3 years.
That's the church. The European Body Wrap said no. We started with the church.
We started with the church 4 years ago. So we need to make movement, because we do too. Okay. Okay.
All right, moving on down to number 5, discussion of December meeting.
So you
Jay,
typically,
before you go on, I would like to ask Michael something.
All right?
Sure.
I assume Michael's there.
Yes, I am.
Michael, has there been any discussion at all amongst the city council and the city manager about this infrastructure bill expediting the building of the road from downtown to the Mirror Lake connector?
Well, half of that road will be built by.
I can't hear you, Michael.
Half of that road will be built by Fuqua Limited, from Mirror Lake Boulevard to a traffic circle somewhere close to Cleghorn, and then from South Carroll here to Cleghorn, that'll be the cities.
Yeah, my question was, in this infrastructure bill that was recently passed, has there been any conversation about that expediting the city's part of that connector?
No, there hasn't. The infrastructure was mainly talking about water and sewer for the new housing project that's going in on Anderson Cleghorn area, and making sure that the lift station there is sized appropriately for Fuqua Industries development. So they haven't had specific talks about it. Publicized talks. I'm sure that Tom Barber has had some discussions with engineers about what's going to be needed, but those are far too preliminary to bring out and open, because there's a lot of options to discuss and parse down to what would really work.
Well, I guess that answers my question, maybe. Do you anticipate any discussion about that in the next few months?
Yes, because Fuqua Industries is supposed to break ground March of next year. And one of the conditions of the deal that they made is that the city will put that other road in, because all of the businesses that they're bringing in are going to want that connection to downtown. So people going from Mirror Lake will pass through their businesses to get to downtown, and people from downtown can easily get to those businesses. So the Fuqua deal is dependent on the city finishing that connector. And it'll take Fuqua Industries, 18 months,
Yeah, they want to be ready and
15
done by
months.
summer of 2023. They want to be
Yeah,
open and
so
ready.
March of 22 to summer of 23, that's pretty quick. So the city's going to have to do something pretty quick.
Okay, that is news to me. Janet, did you say the city wants to build that road or begin the road by 2023?
Well, we'll have to build the road first. Fuqua Development wants to be ready and open by the summer of '23. So we have to build the road first, which I'm sure we're prepared to do because that's part of the agreement.
But now, is that the leg from their facility out to Punkintown or from their facility down to Villarica?
From their facility to North Carroll.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And that needs to be done by 23?
Yes.
Yeah, Fuqua Development wants to be open and running by summer of 2023. So yes, we have about 18 months to build that road.
How long is the segment we're talking about, Michael? Half a mile, maybe?
Maybe. It's not very far. But I'm sure you understand that, once they pick a most likely path, then they're going to have to get land use rights and possibly purchase some property and things like that. And that's pretty delicate. So they'll start working on that, getting agreements before they make any public announcement. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
again, that kind of work takes time too, so that they really don't have a lot of time to spare.
No.
Those things can take a long time. The North Bypass has been in negotiation for like 15 years with one particular property owner out there.
I think that was mostly GDOT's problem, though.
Well, that's set to bid next April, I think, the
Yep,
bypass.
it's supposed to start next year and finish in '24.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any update on signage? Any more discussion? Going down to number 5, new business, discussion of December meeting.
So we don't typically meet in December, so I just wanted to bring that up and get a vote. I know a lot of people will not be in town, or a lot of people go out of town that week, so it's up for you guys to discuss. But we typically meet in November and do not meet in December.
Is there any reason for a DDA to meet because of changes or approvals of the TAD or anything? Because we initiated that.
Right.
Um,
Not that I'm aware of at this time. I know Tom kind of gives me directive there, or Stacy might know something. I don't know anything about updates of the TAD.
I don't know about the TAD, but the Arbor Valley closing
yeah.
is, they have their HUD commitment approved, so they are targeting January to close. So I think all of our actions that this body needs to take, you've already approved, but we will need the chairman and secretary to sign a bunch of closing documents probably for the land exchange. The city is supposed to convey some land to you all, and then you convey it to Arbor Valley. So it's just documenting that. I don't have the latest survey yet from the developer, but I should have that shortly. So in other words, you don't have to meet to approve that. You've already done all the approvals as far as I know, unless something else pops up.
So we need a motion on that.
To not have the meeting, yes.
You can always have a special
Call.
called meeting, you know,
Correct.
so.
I'll make a motion that we do not have a December meeting unless there's a special called meeting.
Got a motion to have a second?
I second.
Okay, moving on down to number 6, public comment.
We need a vote.
Okay.
Your vote for December meeting, Bill?
I beg your pardon?
We need a vote for not having a December meeting.
I voted for that. You didn't hear me evidently. I don't know if my stuff's on or not.
Yeah, we heard
Is
you
it?
that time.
Yeah.
Ellen, do you have a vote for December?
Yeah, that's same as.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on down to number 6, public comment. I've got a comment, say I'll just go ahead and resign my chairman position tonight. Do we need that in writing, Tracy?
No, you don't.
Right.
Verbal.
All right. Anything else from you, Tracy?
Who is our vice chair?
Bill?
Bill?
Bill is your vice chair. So if you have a resignation, then you can go ahead and appoint, if you have a vacancy in an office, you can vote to appoint a chairman to fill that officer position.
So we need a vote to have a chairman, or,
A vote to elect a chairman.
okay, we need a vote to elect a chairman.
I would like to nominate Andy as chair of the DDA.
All right, got a motion for Andy.
I second that.
I second that.
All right, all in favor?
We need the votes on the attendees by Zoom, please. Bill's a
Bill,
yes.
yes. Ellen?
Yep, I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Did you abstain?
I'll abstain, yes.
And Mr. Jerry, thank you for all you've done.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
thank you
Thank you, Jerry.
for the little time I've been.
We appreciate you.
All right, moving on down to item future agenda. Executive session. Have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.